What the fuck do I? Let me start this fucker real quick. All right, there we go. Now it's actually starting. Yeah, we had those crazy calls down at $11, and once sold pumped, obviously our lowest call now is back down in that 59.54, which has been established for quite a while now. This call has been sitting here with a good chunk profit too, 37%. That's a big call. It's the biggest call on the board right now for Solana. If we go to the chart, I haven't added those shorts in. I need to do that. But that is that big call down here, that 54 to 59 zone. This call has been here for several weeks now. We've seen this call. And what we had talked about before was, had this point, this point did not make the higher high, right? Because it didn't break here. Didn't make the higher high, but it didn't exactly. What we were saying is we wanted to see, does it hold the higher low? If it holds the higher low, we could see the uptrend. If it doesn't hold the higher low and breaks back into downtrend, then we could see it continue further. And what we would have done, is included that in our downtrend. Had we not seen this higher low and we went down lower, right? And that was basically laid out perfect how we may have seen these other longs triggered. Now, what we did get was, this is Quora. Oh, sorry, let me turn to Quora. Okay. What we did get is, we did get the low, not necessarily a higher low, but it wasn't, or I'm sorry, a higher high. It was about dead even as the last high, but we did get a higher low here. We did find support at the RSI. We did find support at the long-term EMA and the short-term EMA. So now that we got 2 points, we can establish point and point as an uptrend, right? So because we're not going to move this line up because we held the higher low. So that made the break and retest when we held the higher low, right? That was the retest to form the higher low. So at this point, we are kind of back in an uptrend. Now, I don't know that, obviously, we see some of the major will be if we broke that last major high, that last major resistance, right? So if we go up another 20%, we are into kind of new territory, right? To start pumping. Let's see where we go from there. But this has been resistance, right? That has been resistance. We are testing the EMAs, dancing on them a little bit. We are kind of dancing down toward neutral in the RSI. So momentum has slowed. But remember, when a trend ends, if an uptrend ends, that doesn't necessarily mean a downtrend. When an uptrend ends, it means it could go into a sideways trend, a downtrend, or even a slower uptrend. This just, when we got this break, that let us know we broke this pace of this uptrend. Oh, shit. Broke pace of this uptrend from down here in the $20 range, right? And you see, we did. We broke that trend of just ripping straight up. And we've been moving sideways for a level, testing levels. And now let me go back to Thor and see. Actually, before I do, what I was going to do is go to Thor and grab those short calls. But any questions on anything here so far? What we see, where we left off last week, and what's going on now?
Not at the moment. I just needed to go down, man. It's going up, and I'm sad.
And man, this is where auto contract comes into play perfect because it it's non-emotional and it is playing the up and the down. You know what I mean? I still think we have big ranges down here that could be revisited. These short ranges I still think are in play. Even though we are finding support. Well, let's go look at Big Daddy too, real quick. Bitcoin has now broken that high, right?
Wild.
There we go. So
yeah, we're not in Kansas anymore.
Pre-having.
Bitcoin is now broke. The last high is touched 50. Now, do we hold support? That's the next question. Do we hold support here? You can see we fanned out pretty good, but we're not seeing any big wicks yet, like it's trying to push and can't. We're just seeing kind of slow and steady right now. Now, when Bitcoin does turn down, I think we may even see a little more. Sometimes that's when you see money go into alts, right? Mm-hmm. So maybe we will see another explosion up toward 160 for 160, 180 for a new high, new local high, right?
Is that predicated off of like previous resistances or supports? I guess like the 160. I think we had said that last time, but maybe on like the 1 day chart.
If we go back to here, you see we've got 140. Yeah. If we go up here, you see 160 to 180. There was a top here, a bottom here, a bottom here, a top here. So it did a lot of bouncing around in this area to where I think if it hits this area, it's at least going to test this area before it makes a decision to continue ripping or drop back in. Put it that way.
Gotcha.
I don't think it's just going to blow right through that. I think it's going to, make some of this sideways before it then decides where it's going to go ultimately.
Appreciate it.
Every time I think Sol's gonna take a dump, it does the opposite, and then I gotta thank Otto Thor for preventing me from making dumb decisions.
Right? It's crazy, dude. And I mean, that's what they want to do is, and then when you're convinced, we said the last time, how many times is Sol pumped when we thought it was going to dump? And I believe it was you, Young, that said one time too many. And it's like, at some point, it's going to say, how many times you going to say, man, it's pumped on me every time I thought it was going to dump, and then you're going to go in because how many times are you going to watch a pump and not get part? Well, then that's when, that's probably when the mass psychology is toward that, and that's when they dump it, right?
Yep.
So being aware for either direction, that's why I like these diagonal trend lines so much. Not only like these lines, horizontal lines, they give you a level only in price. These charts represent one axis, a level of price, the other axis, a level of time. So a diagonal line and a diagonal support gives you both a representation and a potential indication of both price and time. That's why I prefer to use the diagonals in my technical analysis, diagonals of support and resistance.
Bro, I knew we were in trouble, as in not getting cheap Sol when Sol turns off and it can't drop below 90. I was like, oh,
dude, was pretty insane. That
took everyone by storm. I was expecting I thought we were gonna hit 70 ranges easily, like for sure.
Yeah, it's just battle tested motherfuckers are left. It's like you think that scares me away when I was buying at $8. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy when that's kind of, I've heard this before. A signal of the bottom is when bad news doesn't affect price, right? When bad news no longer presses price down, that's often signal of the bottom. Like, because like you said, you've shaken everyone out. Anyone that's like going to fall for those games.
The people who are still here were around at $8. You think they're getting shaken out now? They're not.
Right. Yeah, how much fun we dealt with.
Just pull the cartridge out, blow it in, and put it back in. Come on.
Turn it off and turn it back on.
That's what they did, right? Turn it on, turn it back on. Bullish on that.
That's that boomer magic, yo.
Dude, I was like, it was blowing up my phone when I was at work. I was like, what the fuck is going on? And I was like, oh, it went down. It's like, oh, well, whatever. And then I'd turn around and at like lunchtime, it's back at 98 again. I'm like, okay, we're going up, motherfucker. Like,
you remember we left off right here at this peak. We were literally, no, that's right. It was here, right down here, because I said I had entered and I had moved my stop loss to even after we had started finding support here, but we had pressed away to where I said I was moving my stop loss to even. I'm glad I did, because I got out before it broke through it and found support right on the fucking zone I said of entry. But, we were down here and we said, okay, what we need to pay attention to is, do we hold on the long-term EMA? Do we start printing candles above the short term? Because you can see that the short-term EMA, the white line, was acting as a ceiling, right? And it was just bouncing in between here. And we said, okay, which way are we going to break and find support? Are we going to break and start printing candles below and look to go back into our downtrend? And if we did, remember, that's when we said we would adjust our line here to include this as part of the downtrend. But we didn't. We actually found the support and started to break up through. I think it was you, Rumpty, had mentioned this. We'll zoom in on this just because this can be significant. You see right here, the wicks. Remember we started talking about candles and wicks last time. These two wicks basically show that they tried to press price down below the long-term EMA, and it immediately rejected and found support, right? It immediately, instead of continuing the down, it rejected going down and pumped back up immediately to find support. That's a good indication of support. And also a good indication of resistance, right? If we go back, you see these wicks. It tried to pump up, and it's being pressed down. It tried to pump up, and you see it was green, 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 green. It tried to pump up, and it was pressed down in reverse, right? Same thing. You see these big wicks. You often get big wicks before you change direction, right? And it can indicate local bottoms and tops, right? But when you zoom out, you can often see them longer term, and especially if they're on a longer term type of support, such as, remember we said resistance, 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 and then resistance became support. We need to test that as support. What happened when we tested that support? Let's zoom in. Look at that. Down, 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 down. Big wick. big wick and up and moving away, establishing that low, right? Same thing. We come up, we're moving along, and we get the big wick. Big or not necessarily big wicks, but strong candles showing support, and then the big wicks pushing price away and showing support. So when we start to close up here with some significant wicks up top, that's an indication that we may be meeting at least a temporary or local. Now, I do want to, any questions about what we just talked about before I go?
Do you mean like a big candle up and like the lot, like the candle comes back, it like comes back down? Like it doesn't, I guess I'm trying to visualize what you're saying. Like it like tries to try and blow through, it doesn't, and that candle comes back down.
It'll, which would, if it tries to go up and then closes at a lower price, that leaves the wick on top, right? Just like if it tries to go down and closes up, that means it tried to go down but pressed up.
I see. And that's that thing you were talking about before, because I was just seeing it. That's what I was asking you about on Saturday, was those two wicks that were like of similar size that you were saying that were like.
Right. See, just like we found back here at our other support. So when you find candles like that at a point of significance, it may mean something significant. Remember, this was our take profit point for this call, because we said we haven't we had this as resistance, 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 resistance. Then it became support, and we hadn't tested it as support yet. So, and it's not coincidence, but almost uncanny. Look how perfectly those wicks. Look at those wicks, how perfectly they tapped onto that line of last price. And then
it's all a coincidence.
Yep, all a coincidence, right?
Man, fuck you, market maker.
So now we're coming down to test support of the RSI on neutral and this uptrend that we've started to establish, right? And we've got a strong point and a strong point. So since we've got two strong points, we have at least a temporary uptrend for now. I wouldn't go chasing. You know, if you're looking to make an entry long of some type, I would make it more short term, because you see where our longer term calls are. But I would not make an entry to go long, at least until we break this downtrend, as short and temporary as it may be, at least until we break that or find support on the long term or support on the short term. If you always want to make an entry on support of some kind, right? Because like here, if you're chasing this pump, right, you buy here, yes, it still continued to pump, but then what's it do? Usually retraces back down to a point to retest some levels. So instead of chasing into a pump, wait until you're on some type of support, some type of indication, because I mean, what if price from here loses support? And this is where we see a potential break and retest, right? And move down to those zones. You at least want to buy. If you're going long, make it on some type of support. If you're going short, make your entry on some type of resistance. Don't chase.
Don't go chasing waterfalls.
There you go.
No, yeah, that's literally what the main thing I've been focusing on. And you know, it's basic and you know, fail proof if you're looking at, you know, the price action.
Right. Then let's go, like, I haven't put much on this ETH chart, so I'm going to go to it. Talking about buying on support or resistance, you know, let's say I know some people do because I see the degenerate shitcoin trader chat and everything else. I know some of you guys are trading on leverage and everything else. I mean, look at the power of it. You see the line I just drew, right? But if we go to a 15-minute chart, which is something where you should be trading, you know, if you're using more high leverage, you're looking at more short term. You know, let's just pick this point right here, right? On a 4-hour chart, you're saying, okay, yeah, we found support. We're breaking above the blue EMA. Let's go. We're going long, right? Yes, it is still going long, but look how much of a retrace it took. It took a 5%, even up to 6% retrace, and you're lucky it found support and then came back to go long. That's why you don't want to chase. You want to wait until it is on some type of support, because what if it did meet resistance here and turn down, right? You never want to put yourself in the hole of price or time, because a lot of things can happen over time, right? Like you never know, good or bad, but especially if you're in leverage, you want to be in the market and out. So you want to be in on some type of support and out on some type of resistance, right? You don't want to leave your money on the table for market makers to play their games, or, you know, maybe just send a big wick down to wick you out before going the direction that they ultimately intend, right? But you look at it short term here on the 15, you know, you could see where that was potentially a top and not where you really want to go chasing in, right? So you yes, it did ultimately go long and find support there, but before it found resistance again. Don't chase. Buy on some type of support. You know, even after a retrace, now you've got some type of support. We go back to Solana, back to 4-hour. And I want to look at where these short calls are and post them on here as well. Looks like this short call filled these zones that were invalidated after it kept pumping down. But sometimes I leave them on the chart because I like to see if those areas were revisited. I got a fucking cold, so my voice is going.
Need some weed, man. That'll fix it.
Yeah, man, hit the bong. You'll be straight.
Yeah, I'll cough and not be able to talk at all. So, sound like I'm fucking 90. All right, let me see what we got here. We got 121.18 to 120, and we've got 124.77, 123.30. Now those are still up there. Those are right here by resistance, right? By that last resistance. So let's chart these out and see what they look like. Okay, what do we say? 124.77. If somebody has a question, go ahead, fire away. It was at 123.30.
Can I ask you a few questions not about Sol TA? Something else?
Yeah, give me 1 second to lay these out before I jump to another chart because my ADD won't let me do more than.
Yeah, no worries. It's not. I won't even ask you to go to charts, but I'll just I'll chill and wait for you to.
Oh yeah, then what's up? If it's not something I really need to look at, what's up?
Yeah, you don't need to go anywhere. It's just mostly, I guess, sort of a question about your personal strategy or thoughts. Do you look to build bags outside of major coin? Like, I'm just going to use Jupe or Pyth or something like that as an example. Do you build bags like that for like the medium to long term?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
If something like Jupe, I will pull up my Jupe chart in a minute and show you. Jupe, it was free money for me. I got some for free, right? So what I wanted to do was try to take that free money to accumulate more. So yes, I will. I did take profit on some of my Jupe, and I am waiting for certain signals as to when I want to buy back in with a portion of it.
All right, great. Yeah, that was kind of answered my second question, which was more just, well, it's 2 in 1. Are you looking at, I guess you're looking at fundamentals, right, of these coins, and then you're also looking at Thor along the way to build your bag as you go, or sell it, opportune times, if these are bags that you want longer term.
Yes, if it's something I do see fundamentally solid, like Jupe, or like I think Bonk has use case, those I will look to accumulate. And, I'm looking at like Bonk is maybe even more of a long-term type deal. Whereas most of the airdrops we got, I was looking to just get in, get out, right? If it's something that I don't see fundamentals behind, I'm not looking to accumulate, but there can absolutely be opportunity to make money.
Right. You might still trade that on Thor, but you're not looking to. Okay. So I'm more focused on the first part, I guess, which is trying to identify the more fundamentally solid plays, and then use Thor and what you're teaching us every week to build that.
Kind of what you'll hear Rumpty talk about a lot. He uses this TA and Thor as to try to better identify times to DCA in, and then look to take longer term pumps and profits. But when you go to buy in instead of just investing, when's the best time to invest, right? Try to just get a little bit more out of your entries and know, okay, is this a time I should be looking to exit with both RTA and Thor?
Yeah,
I'll send you somebody, Fihu, that I watch on YouTube. I've watched for a long time. He just gives you fundamentals, is what because I'm, like he said, I'm much more of a investor style. I'm not trying to necessarily make swings off of memes. Which, I've been doing a little bit, but I'm not doing swing trade. I'm buying these memes that I think have potential in the next run. But things like Jupe and Pith are fundamental. There are reasons behind why they can do big things, versus just the meme. So
I was watching Invest Answers on YouTube today.
That's him.
Yeah,
that's him.
I've watched him for years and just kind of went back there and was talking about Jupe and Python. Mm-hmm. I was just curious if Mode is also, or you guys were also into the tokenomics and the fundamentals, or if you just really gave a shit about the ranges on Thor and those kinds of
both
metrics.
I'm more fundamental. Obviously, tokenomics matter a lot for me in my investment strategy. If there's tons of lockup and they're going to be able to dump on you for years, they can just sell when there's pumps. There's a lot of things that go into it, and then you mix in the potential of what something can do.
Here's the way I look at it. You have $100. Are you trying to make $120 by the end of the week? Or are you trying to let that $120 potentially become $500 by the end of the year? Because they're two complete different strategies, right? Are you buying a fundamental token and you are going to, here's the thing about an investment. If you want to invest, you're investing into a team or a project that you believe is going to do something valuable, and then you are giving them the time to execute that. Right? Yes. That's a big thing about an investment, is you have to be willing to give them the time to execute that final goal. Now, if your goal is to make $20 off of your 100 by this weekend, you don't have time to let this team conjure up their grand goal, right? You may want to look at a shit token. You may want to look at Solana, but whatever's pumping, but you want to get in and get out. It's two completely different ways of trading, and it's okay. And the thing is, okay, are you looking at the 4-hour and the daily calls? For big movements. I mean, even these could be considered short movements, even from the dailies, right? Like when you're looking at the grand scale of where we got the ultimate break and retest. We were down here and we got the huge break and retest. I don't even have enough room to draw it in. I don't know where that line disappeared, but we had one here. So we knew this was a break and a retest, and this was our ultimate. You can see we're saying, look, we want to enter. We found support. And then after we broke out of this shorter term and found support, we said, hey, take a short here, take profit. And then we said, okay, re-enter, because we found support and we got those wicks like we were talking about, right? So are you looking for a move like this? If you are, you're looking at a move over 70, 80 days, right? That's the difference. Are you looking to make one move over a couple months and make a big chunk? Or are you trying to get more money by the end of this weekend? So that's the difference of, do you want to look at the 15-minute chart and get in and get out, regardless of it's going up or down? You don't really care about the fundamentals. You don't really care about the long range. You just care, hey, is it moving? Tomorrow, is price going to be higher or lower? Not at the end of the year or in 6 months is price going to be higher and lower. That being said, there is absolutely room to do both. And I talked about this a little bit, and I'll use this as an example. I pretty much only go over the frogs fuck charts with you guys and everything anymore, but you can set other charts up here. So I had one that was a scalper, where anything on scalper was a 15-minute chart that I was just getting in and out. I had so many random ass little lines, but none of them mattered in the longevity. This was get in, get out. So I used KuCoin and Coinbase charts. That's what I drew my 4-hour lines and 4-hour charts, was when I would add a chart, a Solana chart, it would be a Solana, either KuCoin or Coinbase chart. And that's what I marked up to know where my 4-hour entries were to, maybe make those trades once a month or something like that, every couple of weeks. Then I had a daily chart, and all of them were Binance and traded on Binance. So I know these trades and these lines on the daily chart, and on Binance, I was only trading every couple months, right? So I knew, okay, if I'm trading on Binance, that's the trades and the entry I tried to make to get from here to here. That's what I'm trading on Binance. What I was trading on the 4-hour charts, that's what I'm trying to get from here to here, right? Or from here to here. Now, my scalper charts, that's where I'm trying to get just from pump from here to here and then make a short from here to here, which is completely irrelevant entirely in the grand move from here to here while I'm trading on Binance, right? So you see how I use different platforms, different charts to keep my different trades and entries open, because if you're making an entry here on Binance where you'd say, you know what, I'm entering at $20 because I think we're going to see some resistance at 60 and 100, you don't want to take profits here at 45. However, if you're on the 4-hour chart, man, you want to take some profits here and then look to re-enter back on support, right? I mean, because that's a potential 18 to 20% swing right there. You want to get that 18 per 20%. You can't let that fly on your 4-hour chart or your scalper chart. But in this grand scheme, that didn't mean shit.
I know we talked a few weeks ago about having separate wallets for different time frames. Maybe would you suggest doing that even without leverage? If you were just doing, let's say you had your 1,000 Pyth, you staked it on your main wallet, and then you wanted to start with, you know, $100 or $200 and start building another bag, and just taking those same time frames, like a 4-hour and a daily wallet, and then a 15 and an hourly wallet. Would you still do that without leverage, or not worth it?
Yeah, sure. Still definitely worth it. I mean, if you're only making 2 to 3%, right? I need to do the math on this. I remember a group Rumpty. You'll remember this too. But if you start with, I think it's $1,000, or maybe it was only like 400 or 500. If you make only 3% every other day, you'll end up with like over $1 million before a year. But you figure that equates to only like 1.5% a day. 1.5% isn't shit. Well, 1.5% compounded and 1.5% then compounded, and little gains stacked up and compounded can add up fucking massively, right? Because you're talking about a percentage. So if you have, I mean, obviously we all understand how math works, but if you have $100 and you make 10%, you've made 10. You know, the next day making 10%, you're making 11. The next day making now you have 121. So the next day 10% is 12.1. So it's just because percentages can compound so greatly, small percentages, even without leverage. Yes. Also, trading those charts without leverage is going to give you the confidence in actually placing the trade, executing the trade, because it's easy to draw the lines on the charts. It's not as easy to press the button to buy or sell. So if you are giving yourself the experience of pressing that buy and sell button and making sure you are protecting your risk, it's going to eventually become second nature and less emotional. You're going to have less emotion doing it with bigger trades or with leverage because you've done it so many times already. So yes, it's absolutely worth doing, even for small percentage and without leverage.
That's a great idea that you had is wallets. Like I have a trading wallet where I'm trying my things I'm learning here. And you can just make a new wallet within your wallet. It's like very easy. And so you can just make them name that 15-minute, 1 hour, whatever, if you want to do it at that. And if it's a new wallet, you can, like, I'll go in at the end of the week, or you could do it daily. Some people like to do it daily, but you can go in at the end of the week. And if it's a new wallet, you can just look on SoulScan and see everything you did. And you can update your trading journal if you're doing that to then keep up, right? And see, oh, I bought my Kira, or I sold my Kira here, and then I bought back in 3 different places here, and now I made an additional 350 Kira or whatever. It's easier to keep track
way
of.
Better that way for me as well. I get way too distracted and confused, and then also like emotional because it's from my main stack. But if I separate it into another wallet,
yes,
it's
it's
better.
too easy to get mixed up, especially if, you may be in a long on your daily and get ready to make a short on your scalper or your 4 hour. And you're like, how does this make sense where I'm going long, but I'm about to make a short? It would make more sense for me to close that long and get the best out of that. And now you're confusing your strategies, your entries, everything else. And like I said, if you want to trade things like, if you're trading Pyth and Jupiter and things that you can trade on Solana, have the different wallets. If you want to trade the different assets at different time frames that aren't available on Solana, that's where you may want to have, Binance's all your short-term trading and Coinbase be all your long-term trades, something like that. But any way that you can kind of keep them less cluttered, less confused, and not be like, well, I'm in a long. Why am I about to enter a short? No, that you're in a long on your long-term trading. You're about to enter a short on the short term. Could be the opposite way, right? You could be in a short on the long term. You may have taken profits and you're waiting long term to re-enter, right? For the big swing. However, you could be buying in to get a short pump or going short on a short dip with your short-term trading. But any way you can break them apart and keep them separate, it'll also help keep your emotions separate of, well, why am I going long, but I'm about to make a short, or vice versa.
Yeah, I just did that, Fihu, actually, where I have my wallet with, I think I'd said it before, I moved 10 Sol into it and started messing around with some of these trading, trying to just acquire more Sol. It's like a game within a game where I'm trying to beat my Auto Thor and stacking Sol with it. But now it's bled into, I'm DCAing daily into certain things. And for Jupe, like Mode was saying, it was the first thing where I've got free money, and I believe in Jupe long term for appreciation in value for the token. And it was the first thing where I'm I got it like this, got all this all this free money, and had the conviction to pull the trigger and sold a third of the bag. Now have just slowly buying back as it's going down. And in that wallet, it's so easy for me to go and see. Then I just click on it, can look at Jupe and see all my, I sold it for this amount of USDC. I'm buying all of these different times, and I've already got more Jupe back, and I still have over half of the amount that I sold. It's just that's the power, is being able to do something like that is wild. And because you're playing with house money, then it was free money. But I guess with Kira, if Kira explodes, you can use your house money. You might not take more money you have, but you can get more Kira with the money you already have in it. Right? Those
are life hacks, man. Just those little tools there, they put you so far ahead of the game, man. And I'm gonna shut up and let you guys get back to it. But I just want to say, Mo, you're a fucking man. You single-handedly changed my experience in crypto and NFTs and Web3. You've made all the purchases of Frogs worth it. and I got mad love for you, man. Thanks for doing this every week.
Dude, I appreciate the fuck out of you, man. And for real, like, that's the reason I do this. Like, that's where we all want to be, is have the good experience, right? And fucking make some bags and get our freedom, get our life. That's what we're trying to do. And here we are on the Jupe chart, and what I saw was, this downtrend right here to start. And as soon as we pumped out of it and I saw kind of a double top, you can see I made a little arrow right here. I made that arrow because that's where I took some profits. This was free money. I took profits at 61 cents. And I'm waiting until we break and find. See, we got the break, right? We got a massive break. But we failed the retest and didn't make the higher low or hold even. So I didn't enter. And where are we going? Still going down. So I sold about a third of my bag of Jupe. And now here we are sitting close to 24, 25% lower. And I'm still not re-entering yet. I mean, I want to see that break and retest. Even if, what's 25% now, if we get the break and the retest here, instead of 25%, I'm only getting 20 or maybe only 15, but I'm okay with that because I'm waiting for some type of indicator.
Well, just on this alone, like I didn't get an airdrop really, other than the 5 Jupe from Frogs. But like just that, I started trying to DCA in, relatively soon, and obviously just seeing these lines would have been helpful. I could have got it at 20% cheaper, 20% cheaper.
Right.
So definitely
slow
need
and
to learn.
steady DCA wins the race, man, depending on your time horizon, on what you're looking at,
And
But
it's
if you're
really,
bullish on it long, keep chucking it in if you got it,
Well, like you said, it might
it's
not be
also
done in the
really
downtrend.
tough because we had no data, right? Like,
Yeah.
we don't have any long, consistent trends to go off of yet. So this is a little tougher, for
Did
sure.
Thor's call on, because Thor did make a call on Jupe, was that at this big green candle by chance, or how did that end up playing out?
To be honest, I am not sure. I did not look at it, so I can't say where it was, what it was called for.
Got you. So when would you start considering buying this again? If it breaks the red line and then stays on the next?
He's buying it on that
low.
support.
Yep, I'll look to buy on the break, and I'll look to buy on whatever becomes the higher low. Whenever I see that high, that break and that higher low established, that's where I'm going to look to get back in. Usually the break and retest. And the fact that it's free money, it's free money and I'm in profit, anytime's a good time to buy back in. But I want to get my
low. The last low when we're talking about this on this break and the retest is just the lowest last red candle.
Wherever the low happens to be. So if it happens to be right here, this is our low, right? If that happens to be our low, fine. I want to see a break and a retest above that low. Now, if price keeps going down and that doesn't happen until down here, fine. I want to see the break and the retest hold above that low, and this is where I want to look to buy.
Amazing. It's so good. So now you can just sit idle and wait, and you're not even checking. Here. You're checking once.
You don't feel the FOMO.
Yeah,
that's
so
what it is.
See, when I had before we had the rest of this data, this was my downtrend, right? I wanted to buy on the break and the retest. I got the break, but we didn't get the retest. It kept going down, right?
Mm-hmm.
it kept going down and actually made a lower low. Well, a lower low is not a sign of an uptrend.
But you held because it's free money and you sold earlier as well.
Yep. It was free money and I sold. So why rush it?
And now buying in on that.
He's patient, right? It's not allowing him to FOMO. He's waiting on that indicator.
Because I can't tell you how many fucking times, same thing you're saying. Okay, well, it looks like a bottom. Look how much support we're finding right here. I'm going to enter. Oh, it's looking good. Well, it keeps going down. Okay, well, it looks like it's flat here. I'm going to enter. Oh, well, shit, it keeps going down. I have done that, been caught in that so many times, and with investments and with leverage. And, well, if this wasn't the bottom, this has got to be the bottom, right? Well, if that wasn't the bottom, this has got to be the bottom. How many times you want to play that game?
So the only thing that's
I'm tired of playing that game, man.
The only thing that fixed that for you in your trading was learning to trade the break and the retest. Is that what I'm getting from that?
Pretty much. That's why I use these diagonals. So, like, my trading is pretty fucking simple. I have diagonal lines. I will use some EMAs and I will use the RSI, and that's pretty much it. But the diagonals are my number one. The EMAs come second to that, and the RSI, I just like to know when the RSI is really topping out or what bottoming out, or what type of are we finding that support or resistance around neutral. But ultimately, like, this chart, I don't have any EMAs. I don't have RSI. I'm simply trading on the break. We didn't get the retest. Okay. So I didn't have this longer term line. Okay. So now I have what is the new downtrend, right? We got a break, but we didn't hold the higher low retest. So I can extend it. When I get the break, I want to find the break in the higher low. And it depends on term, because time frame term. Because if you make this your time frame just right there, right? I'll make it a different color, say. So this pink line, you can see this is a real short time frame, and we did get the break and the retest for a higher low, and we got a good pump. But when you zoom out and look overall, that was barely a move. So again, that's where time frame matters. Are you, if you're a swing trade, or leverage trading, you could look at, just this, say, man, as soon as it breaks this downtrend, but you're getting in and you're getting the fuck out, right? You're probably getting in here and getting out there. Get that 3-4%, you're coming up to resistance and you're gone. So you're trading these 3 or 4 candles as opposed to this grand scheme, right?
Can you see resistance on such tiny time frames like you were just describing like that?
Absolutely.
Looking on 5-minute charts? Okay. I'm not experienced at all with that.
So it'll show the same thing. So you see where our up and down trends are. I mean, here's an uptrend. Here's a downtrend, right? I mean, you can map these out to whatever time frame you want, but it's how significant are they, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how long are they to how big of a pump is the break and the retest of them going to give you, right? If you're trading these on the 5-minute chart, when you go back to an hour or a 4-hour chart, you're trading one candle, 1 to 2 candles sometimes, right? So you're not really going to see those tiny ones, but if you zoom in to 5-hour, yeah, you can still draw all your diagonals and breaks and retests pretty much the same way.
It's on that 4-hour when you drew that first, just example downtrend. and it broke, and then it came back down, found support, and like in our example, we're looking before that. So you had it where a little bit that first little run where it tried to break the downtrend, not that one, the one behind that one. So you drew the downtrend on that, and then it broke through and made this last run, the big one to the left of where you're looking.
Yeah.
So it broke through. So right here, like, I would have bought down where your mouse is, because that's finding the support below that when you had drawn your first line, because it's not there anymore. And you had just drawn the example. I'm asking, like, right here, because you drew it and then it broke out. It had the resistance of this first big line that you drew, and then it drops, finds support, and then it went on that run where it makes this high right here. Not new high, but the
You mean like that?
from the next peak, the next time it did a little run. Not that one. Not the big one. The one to the left of that. Sorry, it's hard to explain.
Right here?
That. Yeah. It was just a temporary downtrend that you had drawn. So like right there, you drew it, and it breaks right there. See, it breaks, makes resistance on the downtrend, finds support. So I would have bought there. And then now I'm getting to my question, right? So like I bought there, and then it goes up. And so then when it's up here at the peak now, it makes that candle that you were saying in the beginning, right? Like it has the huge, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So is that like where you're also looking at your RSI? So like if RSI is like relatively peaking out and you get this type of candle, like I sold some.
The RSI top out and show FOMO, and you're seeing price is trying to go higher but can't. Yes, that's showing resistance. And that would be the time that you would take profits if you're looking short term. Now, if you were looking, and this is a little short term break,
for sure.
So you're only looking for short term pump. But if you were looking for something more long term, this is where you would establish this uptrend, right? You have your bottom and you have your support. So you're now in an uptrend, right? What happened when we broke it and then couldn't break back into it? We continued to go down. Now, again, these are looking short. Shorter ones are going to play out a little more erratic. Look, that's where Solana was down right there.
The gap.
Yeah, I bet you that's where Solana was down, where nothing happened. But yeah, you got to be aware of how big a move you're making, how significant it is in the whole price. And that's why short term, you're looking to make short term moves, short term money. If you're looking longer term, that's where you're looking for longer term moves and longer term money.
Yeah, and it's crazy. This has only been out for 14 days. It feels like fucking forever when Juke dropped.
Yeah, that is insane. So we've really got little to no data on it at this point. Will this be a support? So far, it's acting like it. We'll find out. Do we hold this wedge and break up? Or do we break down below it and have to make our next move? All right.
Mo, do you remember when I was telling you it's not if, but when, motherfucker? Have you looked at when? Oh, we winning. We been winning.
Oh, this is why I hate the fucking chart on when. I don't know why it does this. Like, I have to.
Like shot to like hundreds of dollars. Because I think that's what it did. Something was weird with the thingers. Shot to like something stupid.
Just move a little bit to the right to fix that.
Say again?
Move a little bit to the right. So you're hiding the first candle.
Really?
Well, it does work for me.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Where if it shows that first candle, it like jacks it up.
Okay, right.
Yeah, there you go.
The other thing you can do is that in the bottom right corner of your chart where it's got like the percent, the log, and the auto, you see that that circle button right above.
Yeah, the settings.
Yeah, and you click that and you hit reset price scale.
Yeah, sometimes it fucks with my lines though. So
Can't be
really?
fucking with Mode's lines.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a problem.
Yeah, and maybe it won't now. I mean, Bird Eye and Jupe has come a ways, so maybe it won't now. But you can see where long ago I had that downtrend line, right? For one. And so we wanted to see break and retest of this, and we made the higher low and have held since, right? So after breaking, we have not made a lower low. And when is making a rip. So that would be the uptrend that I'm now watching. So I'd have two uptrends, this one being the more significant, and this low, these being a little more longer term. Does that make sense how I establish them? The low and the next point. But I don't want to use this if I'm in a long, because look how much profit I could be missing off of this rocket move that's happening, right? So I use my next point of solid support. That's my major significant uptrend. So if I'm in and looking to take profit, I want to watch the stronger pump, right? But yeah, I'd say that was from bottom. What do we got? Over 100% from the lows.
Yeah, it's been on a tear.
Yeah.
Those DCAs looking mighty.
See, yeah, because if you were DCAing for a while, you were going
the whole time.
Nice.
Every day.
Nice.
So now I can I took out half of what I DCA'd in, waiting for it to drop some, put it in, play the game.
Wait until you're on some type of major support. Yep. Well played, sir. And again, what do we see? Big wick. And then a push in
That's
the
a
other
new thing
direction.
I learned today. So thank you for that.
Big wick, push in the other direction. Here we got a big wick, but it didn't push away right away, right?
Yeah. And looking at it on the 4 hour too looks, because there's like enough for it now. I mean, it's still like new, but
yep, a clear support. Support.
Yeah.
How much time till this candle closes? Where's the 2.5 hours? So we don't even have a close on this yet to see if it shows rejection. See what I mean? It's all about relative and time frame.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a pretty fucking nice move.
That's a gnarly move, 100%.
Yeah.
In 2 days.
And still has another 100% from here to basically test that high.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't really count this. You can't really count this at all.
No, that doesn't count. That's the launch. But to get back to the all-time high, you also have significantly less total supply than you did.
Yep.
At the peak.
And still have an additional 100% just to test those highs.
Like roughly 270.
So if I was looking to maybe buy WEN token, I would not be buying it now.
Nope.
I would either wait until we're breaking, even though it's like literally touching 2 candles and that's it, is a downtrend. I mean, it's kind of hard to establish, say that's a downtrend, but I would at least want to see it break this or be buying on support or on support of some type. I don't want to be chasing up here, because if I wait and I do buy it on support, say down here, measured it the wrong way, I'd at least be buying 12 to 13% cheaper. That's fairly significant in profit. You know, if you can get, especially if you're doing any type of leverage. I mean, just 2x leverage, you're talking about 25% now, 25, 30%. That's fucking significant. So don't chase. Wait for some type of support to buy on, because there's always another trade, right? If you miss this one, you can get this one. Like, there's always more trades. So don't chase.
Aye, Captain.
Now I'm interested in looking at the degen charts that we've got here. What did we have? OMI. Support in that zone strong, son, and looks to be retesting right on top of this. Look at that. Finding support on the RSI and finding support right on what was resistance that whole time. Looks like it could be finding support one. Break, retest, significant move. I'm going to move this to daily just to, this should be red. I don't know why I have that green. Must have been just drawing it out fast. But even just up to that, that's 30%. Up to here, we're talking 500% still. Up to just what support. Some point we got to test that as resistance. Just like we tested, this was support, resistance. We'll probably maybe see resistance on it again. But you see how that works? What was support becomes resistance. Let me draw that one. See, this was support. Then became resistance. Right? So since this was support, then became resistance. Once we break through here, we're probably going to test this as resistance again, and that's 500% from where we are. So, woo-hoo! If you want to do your research in the fundamentals of OMI, there you go.
Slide my DMs, you know what I'm
saying? Yep. DYI. Do your own research.
Bro, I don't know if you saw it, Mode, but Disney, they partner with Epic Games, right? Yeah, and they
solid too, man. Fuck. This
they
is
invested. Oh, you go ahead.
Too.
Yeah, this is Gala. Yeah, Gala. Oh yeah, yeah, boy. I bought in the gold zone because you told me to buy it. So.
Right in the zone. It looks like we could be finding support again. It's looking to try to make that bullish cross. Remember, we talked about that potential head and shoulder pattern, and long-term break. And right now looks like the retest in that head and shoulder pattern. Now this, just saying, this gets a little crazy. Just saying, it gets a little crazy that this is 3,000% to 10,000. So, getting a little crazy, getting a little degen.
3,000%.
Bitcoin, I assume Bitcoin will make new all-time high, right? So then this will also do new all-time high, right? So I said exit. I have in my head. I don't know, double or third times the all-time high. Yeah.
I mean, if you think if Bitcoin, if we see a new all-time high at 100K, which is significant considering the high was 65, a new all-time of 100K is crazy. That's only that's 100% increase, right?
Mm-hmm.
This would be 3,000% increase. So it do you get what I'm saying? I mean, the percentage.
I should be happy with this all-time high.
Yeah, this were to reach, it'd be insane. And it's
put $1 in there and wait.
That's what I'm saying. This is degen shit. This is if you believe in Gala or you believe in gaming or you want to make a degen trade, that's what you do. You don't take your bag that you believe in all of crypto because you believe in Bitcoin and you believe in Solana and dump it all in fucking Gala. I mean,
no, this is the moon bag for me.
Exactly.
Yes,
you buy a little bit for a moon bag and see what it goes, right?
Yeah, I got some for 2 cents. So
yes,
There
sir.
you go.
I'm waiting for the moon now.
Right
Strap
there.
in, bro. We've been in there for fucking ever now, being mowed.
Perfect. Right here on our line, our zone was right here from basically 2 cents to about 2.5 cents was our zone, and we're still right there, right? We're at that zone. Not financial advice. Do your own research. This could continue to go lower. We're just going off the TA we have now and not making major moves. This is degen trades. But that's pretty wild. That's
yeah.
And if you look, our take profit zone, right? The green line, look at how perfectly it lines up what was support, then became resistance. Right? It was support. It was support, then it became resistance. It would make sense that we test that as resistance again. So, I mean, even just to test the next level of, we have one resistance level right here at 60%, the bottom of that zone. If we break up into it, our next is 200%. So 60 to 200% just our next levels of resistance. So let's just, for shits and giggles, we're going to map out along.
We going for shiggles now. Okay, bet.
If we were to enter here, first resistance at the bottom of this zone, 60%. Lows below last low, you're looking at, again, this is degen, 18, almost 20%, but you're still looking at a 3.2 risk to reward. That's a pretty healthy play. Now, if you look to resistance, if we break into the zone, you're looking at 11 to 1, which is insane. A 200% gain, right? That's degen trading. But those are the moves that crypto is known for. That's why we're here on Tuesday Trader, to learn and have confidence to make some of these moves and find ourselves profitable.
Yeah, I'm trying to use some to obviously make a little bit of money, but I believe in Gala, and I'll be able to use that token, which if the value increases significantly, it's going to cost me less Gala to use in the ecosystem.
Well, like you said, you are looking to invest and maximize your DCAs.
Yeah.
You don't want to buy into the pump. You want to buy on some type of support, some type of zone.
Yeah. It's wild. Those are my DGen plays. That, you know me.
Anybody got questions of Solana or anything else we didn't touch? I'm definitely losing my voice with this cold, and I have to wrap up here and pretty shortly.
Are you bullish on Pyth long term? Or in this cycle coming up?
I am, most definitely.
Well, if you look,
it's gorgeous.
It's Chainlink on Sol. That's
look
what that is.
how we've been finding support, but you see here we are hitting what I would consider to be a profit zone. We're even.
So I should wait a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
it's been pumping hard recently.
You'd be buying into the pump.
Yeah. I'm not buying right now. I'm definitely buying PIF long. That's for certain.
We may even see something like this now that we've seen the move. We may even come back down here to this support level, which
35 cents.
Yeah, 30, 35. Because you see how much action is in the zone, how much action is in the zone. We found support, or at least down to this level of 40. But I think we can come back down here at 35.
Awesome. Thanks so much, man.
Yeah.
I'm going to build this long-term Pyth bag for sure.
Yeah, dude,
I need to.
Those are both.
Yeah.
Go well. Do your own research, but can't go wrong with those.
I mean, it could keep moving right now, but I personally don't like to buy that far into an uptrend, that far above the RSI. I mean, above the EMAs. If I'm buying, I need it to be on some type of support, and this is up and far above any support I see. So
yeah, I mean, before Trader Tuesday and before starting to comprehend this stuff, that's where I would have bought. So just knowing.
Yeah, you get caught in the FOMO. You're like, man, it just won't stop going. I can't miss out on any more of it. It just keeps flipping. Yep.
And then, dude, and then you start tying that in because I can tell we're like similar in the way that our strategies are, Fihu, and you tie that in what we're learning here with if there are Thor calls, like my God, you can optimize your DCAs like a fucking boss. You can mitigate your FOMO like no other, man. It's insane.
Yeah, I mean, even look at,
more.
Yeah, if we dropped down here to $70, you're going to have a lot of people panicking. You know, especially if we drop down here we lose $60, people are going to be really panicking. But we know, hey, this
you know who isn't? All of us are in here because we got this.
We at least have a chance to take 45% off of the retest before it goes lower or keeps pumping. Right? Thor gives us confidence.
It's awesome. I fucking love it. I love
one
Thor
thing
for that.
I want to touch on real quick, just because I haven't this session yet. For anybody that's maybe new or looking here, holy shit, these charts are confusing as fuck. What are all these lines he's drawing? If you just look at Thor, right? And let's just say, this is the first long call that's going to hit, right? It's the highest one. So if price is going to come down, it's going to hit this first. If you want to take this call, all you need to know is you're going to enter between $86.60 and $87.40. You're going to look to take profit at 98. Perfect. You know your entry, you know your exit. Now, you need to know how to protect yourself. Very easy. Risk management, RM, right? Just click the risk management tool. Let's say you're only willing to lose $20 on that trade. We'll put in 20. We'll hit calculate. Okay, I know I need to buy 1.76 SOL at $86.66. And I need to sell that 1.76 SOL at $98.09 for the profit. And I need to set a stop loss. Cut my losses if it's going the wrong way at $75.30. So you've now known your entry, how much to buy, at what price, when to take profit, and where to cut your stop loss. You don't need to understand the chart, support, resistance, all that, if that's not what you're looking to learn. I look to use Thor to support my own TA and my own TA to support Thor. If you don't like doing TA, you don't need to.
Would you choose this risk to reward ratio?
I like to go at least to the 1.5 and often to the 1.2. I don't really ever do just 1-to-1. I like to do at least the 1.1 to 1.5 personally, if not the 1 to 1.2. That's personal preference. And if you're just taking every Thor signal, you can probably do pretty well with the 1-to-1, and you know, because you're playing, you know, less risk to reward, but you're playing more plays, higher, you know, per more spins, I guess you could say, by taking as many calls as you can. Because I'm not taking every call, I want to maximize my entries and returns a little bit more than just 1-to-1. I look at least to the net.
Okay. Yeah, I have some difficulties to find my preference. Yeah.
And you know, dude, that's part of the trading journal. I don't know if you started one, but keep a journal of which one you're taking and why did you take it. Was it a Thor call and that's why you took it? Is it a Thor call and TA showed? Is it a Thor call and you saw someone respectable on Twitter make a post? And you'll in time learn, you know what? Every time that guy says go long, it doesn't work out. Or every time it seems like when I do the 1.5, I always miss the exit by just a touch. You know, you may start to reveal some things in yourself, in your trading, to yourself by having that trading journal and record.
Yeah, I don't have one. I should maybe start one. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Definitely start one, Abby. It's so OP, man. You can see your mess ups. That's what it is.
Trading log is going to just say, oh, I entered at this price, I exit at this price, and this is ultimately what happened. A trading journal is more about you than the numbers. Oh, I was bullish on this trade because I saw Thor and I saw the RSI. I was, I don't know. I just took this trade because Thor said so. You know, whatever it is, it's a journal of your mentality and then what happened to maybe recognize patterns in yourself. Because remember, this whole market is based on human emotion and human perception. And if you can identify your own emotions and perceptions that either lead to smart moves or getting caught in the trap, man, that's just putting you a step ahead of the rest of the market.
Yeah.
Take one more look here. I'm getting ready to wrap up.
For me, it's like my trading journal. Like I always remember my wins. I'm like, yeah, I did it. And I don't remember my losses, but that reminds me of my losses where I can what I did wrong is the
why was it?
Yeah.
Were you hasty? Were you just
emotional?
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's just going to keep going up from here. Fuck it.
Yeah.
What was your thought? Like, how confident were you it's just going to go up versus how confident were you're sniping the bottom right here? That all comes into play.
Yes, sir.
So here's what we've got on the board. We've got 2 short calls, daily short calls in close, and 2 longer term long calls down further. So, and you see how big the profits are here and how big the profits are here. So, do we test these short-term resistance or do we go down and test these long-term supports? At this point, I say we are in a temporary up until we break this, right? We made the higher high, we made the lower low, we got the higher high, higher low. We're still going higher now. We're printing candles above the long term, above the short term. The RSI is above neutral. Everything to me says we're going up, but I want to buy on support if I'm going long. Even though everything says we're in long territory, I still want to get it on that support, not just some arbitrary position. Now, if we break this, we get the break and retest. If we get the break and retest, which also shows resistance on the EMAs, then we could be looking to go down again. But for now, we've broken this downtrend, and we are at least in a temporary up from this retest of what was our previous resistance that we found as support.
Right on.
Did you, from your experience, we had this crazy long calls, now they are gone. Is it possible that the same calls come again, that they come back? Did you saw something like that? Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Yes. If we meet some major resistance here and start breaking back down, we could see that $11 call come back up later. Just because it's invalidated now doesn't mean that if Thor saw it as a zone of potential before, it's still a zone of potential. It just doesn't see it as high a probability at this point, in my interpretation. Now, if we do start going down and it says, hey, it is a higher probability because that zone is obviously still there. It's just a less probable point to hit now that we're pumping. If we start dumping and it becomes more of a realistic possibility, yes, we could absolutely see those calls be reprinted.
Okay, cool. Then I can hope.
Dude, that's the difference in when you start understanding charts and trading. Instead of wanting price to just go up all the time, a lot of times as a trader, you're hoping prices go back down because you understand the power of getting a good entry. When you don't understand any of this, you would never say, oh, yeah, I hope Solana goes down. You'd never say that. You just want price to go up. But when you understand the power of trading and taking profits to then compound, you're like, yeah, man, I could use a 20% dip right now,
Yeah.
That's what me and my friend were talking about in real life. We're like, bro, you know you're in it for the win when you're like sad that it's pumping because you don't have enough.
Right. When you still want to accumulate more and have them lower prices, that's when you know you are thinking different than most. Yeah, you're thinking a lot different than most when you're thinking, man, if it stays down here and I can accumulate more. Or just like, man, it's really pumping. I should take some profits because at some point we're going to see that day of just 20 to 30% dump. And I'm going to wish I had a little bit of money to buy, you know?
Hey, Mo,
Yo.
for the last few minutes, you mind if you're all set with checking out Soul, we could look at ADA?
ADA?
Yeah.
I don't even have Cardano added on, do I? Nope.
Hold on.
We're gonna just remove, because God knows what was on this. Okay. I'm just gonna do a quick what I see, and then we'll go from there. Okay. Now, this is not looking at Thor or anything else. This is just kind of what I'm seeing here. We had the long, we got the break, the retest, we pumped. You can see we got a pretty clear break. Retest made the lower high. And then we've got, if we see a lower low, we see the lower low, then we know we can move this uptrend. This downtrend line to include that as well. But at this time, short time frame, it does look like we've broke out of it. This was a pretty big zone here that it pumped and it refilled it. I don't see any major zones. Maybe here's that's not really a zone. This one, it got tested and that would, to me, looks like the support zone. Right there.
Yeah, there's a 15-minute long at 52. Yeah. And short at 56. No, 55. And 56 on the short on the 15-minute.
Buying here on the retest. Right? Somewhere in here, that would be buying the higher low, looking for the long, right?
Yeah.
So you'd be looking for the support and the long off of the retest. Right? But this looks like a pretty significant zone. You can see we found wicked away from it, wicked away from it, setting higher high. If we hold the higher low, we could again see the higher high and test these resistance points again up here at 60.
All right. Yeah, there's been a 4-hour short for like the past couple of days.
What is the entry point?
That would be 56.8.
Oh, so
Between-
barely above. Okay.
56.5 would be the low end. And then there's
So-
another 4-hour entry at 6 cents, 60 cents.
Basically right here at the last high. It's saying if we pump up to that, then we're gonna, if we get to the last local high, we're gonna retest the EMAs. Because what's the take for that short? Probably somewhere here around either 54 to
52. For the 4-hour or 15?
Whichever this one was, you just gave me the entry.
52 would be the take profit.
So okay, right here down.
Oh,
on
sorry. I'm looking at the 4-hour. The first one I gave you.
right here in these wicks.
Yeah, so 52 was the take profit for the 4-hour.
Okay. So right down here on the longer term EMA. And right down here on our trend line would probably be that 52 area if we hit this, right? Right down to here, which is testing resistance, resistance, resistance. The blue EMA, test this zone for support, test the EMA for support, or long-term for support. So that would be the entry, take profit. But why is it saying take profit? Because that could potentially be a support for
Yeah.
a long if we hold the higher low. That's why it's not saying go short and we're going down from here. It's saying go short and take profit on what is a potential support, right? And then maybe look to go long on what is potential support. It's not saying, oh, we're going, this is the top of the market, we're going down. That's why it has a profit zone.
Yeah, Thor's been on point all day with the calls on ADA. I've been following it.
Nice. Yeah, I don't follow ADA much. Never. I know Cardano just got too hyped and crazy. Was expected to do a lot, and really, it was once I met more developers and they told me how impossible it is to do anything on Cardano that I stopped paying attention to it as much and paying more attention to Solana.
Damn, don't fade Hoskins, dude.
I mean, I'm still waiting for it. It's been a long time. Still waiting.
Nah, dude. Yeah, I appreciate it. Gonna keep riding it out and scalping.
I think ADA will run in this next run because of the community, right? Like not just
It's
the
got
tech
a
and do things,
die-hard community.
but yeah, to Mode's point, like in the long run, you know, the premise of ADA is the decentralization of it, right? That's one of the powers of the system, but they need to scale it, and I know they're not there for that yet. But as demand comes in, if they're not ready for it, it's when opportunity meets hard work, you know. That's luck meets ready, right? So it's like if you're ready and the luck comes, then yeah. But if you're not ready, and the luck
That's all
comes.
luck is. Luck is when preparation meets opportunity.
Yeah. ADA was one of my first big bags, like when I first got into crypto, because it was one of the like use
Narratives
cases I was
that-
yeah. Well, it was like, but it wasn't just the narrative. It was like in Africa, adding use case, right? Like being used in school systems to provide school records where they can pull things up, or they didn't have systems like that at all. Like it was just more potential real use case in the world. Like, why would someone care about using this, right? And now it's just when you have things competing, it just depends on how skilled you are, and the demand is coming big time. It already is here. You had spot beat,
Still over
ETFs.
400% to test last all-time high. So
Yeah, I think it will. I think it will run.
I'm sure it'll still have a good run.
Yeah. That being said, I don't own any ADA anymore. For me,
I have a very small moon bag of, traded some to earn profit. Like we were talking about juke. If you trade juke and you earn more juke, and then you trade and you earn more juke, you could end up selling all the free airdrop you got and still have some Jupiter, right? So unfortunately, that's what I did with, if you guys were around Luna, I was doing a lot of trading of Luna, and instead of taking my profits in USD, I was taking my profits in Luna, just building bigger and bigger and bigger bags of Luna. And then I watched about $70,000 turn into less than $1 in a single day.
Were you also degen looping on Anchor and?
Fucking right, bro.
Yeah, baby.
Man, I remember Anchor, dude.
I
That shit
watched 70 grand of assets turn into $1, less than $1 in a day. It's because I was taking all my profits into one thing. I was not diversifying. But point is, if you trade ADA, let's just say you make a trade and you make $20. Maybe you want to take $10 in ADA, just put it away in a moon bag and take $10 in USDC, right? So I do have some ADA because of that. I have a bunch of little random shit because sometimes I would take some of the profit in free coin instead of some of the profit in always USDC. So, think about that when you're trading Solana too. If you've just made a swing trade and made $20, do you take $20 USDC profit, or do you take $10 USDC profit and then just have that extra $10 worth of Solana that you throw into the contract at some point, or you go and stake it? Options of where you take your profits. We're knocking on the door with Bitcoin, ain't we?
as in up. Yeah.
We're trying, but it looks like this is a daily chart. And we've closed wick resistance and opening up
It's went on a tear this week. So
I know.
Look at that. Yeah, you drew that zone on that. I'm learning so much from you, dude. I drew that zone on that wick where we didn't fill anything.
Right here?
No, down. That big green candle. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I still think Bitcoin's going back down to 32.
Yeah.
Or 33, finding the support.
Yeah, exactly. Touch it. I think it's going to touch it. Yeah.
You'll see a wick go in and then reject out.
Yeah. That's when I'm trying to DCA right there. Give me it.
Things like this, understanding like we just blasted through here without testing it and that we may come back, just makes it so much easier to,
dude, it's chill. It's so relaxing. And that's the thing. You're not emotional anymore. Like, you can avoid it.
Going up, okay, well, I'll just wait for the next time it comes and test support.
Exactly. Look at what you're learning here, adjust your strategies and chill again. Wait for it. Like you said, there's always another trade.
Always.
This has literally changed my life, dude. I used to be gonna have to buy shit because I'm like I'm afraid I'm not on the train enough, or like it's gonna go, or it's like I can just relax, and it's like, bro, I'm already bald. I'd lose all my fucking hair. Like, keeping up with that.
I'll show you guys something about there always being another trade. All right. I'm just going to turn on symbols now. Here's how many potential trade options you have for right now. Just right now. Are you upset if you missed one of these? Because you're going to have this many more again tomorrow. But do you see what I mean? There's always another trade.
Sir?
It's almost ridiculous, ain't it?
There's always another trade if you have. It looks like.
Yeah, it just depends on your time horizon. That's really what it is, you know.
Absolutely.
And when you got the long time horizon and buying into something that you believe in will have value in your relative long term, you can relax. It's so nice.
And let's see, you just 4 hour and daily calls of 5% or more.
Hey, Mode, have you ever heard of Kujira?
I have, but I don't know anything about it. Sounds familiar. I think I've heard.
I'd just be curious if you had any thoughts on the chart. I know you got to take off soon, so if another time's better, no problem.
What's the call sign?
KUJI.
Okay. Wow, this looks like a DGen one, huh? I'm only seeing it on very degenerate platforms.
Oh, it's on it's a Cosmos.
Okay. Well, I mean, as far as like when I look it up, I'm only seeing it on CoinEx, Bybit, and MEXC. So it's not
yeah, they don't
very many exchanges. I understand it's on the you said Cosmos, Atom, Smart Chain.
Yeah, Kuji's got its own like. Yeah, I'm kind of confused as to how it all works. But they've got their own like perps and they've got their own decks and like they've got a lot built out and they've been around since right around Luna days.
Interesting.
There's a huge sector of people betting on this like for their moon bag. So I was just curious if it's on the chart.
I would wait until I see this uptrend break. This downtrend break before I would make any type of entry. It could be finding support here even. It may break this downtrend very, very soon. But I would need to at least see it break that before I look at making entry. Talking about zones, we also see a major zone here, and we see a zone here.
What makes that a major zone? Just price action green with.
There was no price action.
There was no price action.
Yeah, see what I mean here? Like they test it. Here, it just blew right through it. Like when I see something just blow through and no test, they often revisit that area.
Like we were just saying with Bitcoin, right?
Yes.
Perfect.
So if I were looking to go long on Kujira, I'd at least want to see support in this zone and the break and retest, or the support in this zone and break and retest. And if you look, that's your kind of ultimate DCA or ultimate entry. If you're getting in here, you're buying on the major long-term support. You're also buying when you test resistance, support. We haven't tested it again as support.
I see.
So I want to see it at least break this downtrend. But if it breaks this downtrend, is near this uptrend support, and fills this zone of support, fuck yeah, that to me is one of your ultimate indicators of hey, indicator 1, we filled the zone. Indicator 2, we're on the long term. Indicator 3, we've got a break and a retest.
Beautiful. That makes a lot of sense looking at it on the chart. Whatever reason, I don't really trade this.
But now, doesn't it make it easy to breathe and think and wait and
Just
not
relax.
Yeah, I'm going to pass this along to my buddies that trade
that's
this.
why I like the diagonal too. If I take this diagonal away, all you know now is, if I remove the diagonals, you have no idea when it may come down to this point, right? Or these points. It's kind of like, well, is it going to do this soon? Is it going to potentially do this in a year? You don't know, but when you use diagonals and not just horizontals, now I have a semi-representation of time and distance that, you know what, when it comes July, I'm paying attention to potentially load the fuck up in the middle of this summer, right? If it gets to be July and we're down here, fuck, this is looking fucking good for me. This is when the people make their DCA in their big bags, not up here when everyone's talking about it and it's already made a 500% fucking move, right? 500% move, that's going to retrace 70-80%, which lines up here perfect.
It's so wild too that it goes 500%, and then when it goes down like that, it's 70%. It's just, math is just weird.
I had someone recently.
It makes sense, but it's just weird.
It's a friend of mine that doesn't understand a lot of trading, and they're just kind of dabbling into it. And that was one thing that they didn't understand at all. And how I got them to understand this, I was like, okay, listen. If you go from $80 to $100, right? That's a $20 gain. What is $20 of $80? 25%. So that's a 25% gain to go from $80 to $100, right? Now he was just thinking, well, if it's going from 100 back to 80, it's 25% again. No, 100 to 80 is $20, but what percent is $20 of 100?
Yeah.
20, not 25, right? So
it's strange. I mean, it makes sense, but it's not like straightforward.
It makes sense, but if you're not aware of that, you're like, well, if it went from here to there and that was a 20% pump, I can catch a 20% dump on the way down. No,
exactly.
No, you're talking a percentage of total at the time. So $80 to $100 is a 25% increase. $100 down to $80 is only a 20% dip. So things to yes.
And what you did here too,
but I guess if you don't think about it,
exactly. It's not intuitive. It's not intuitive. Like you think it is intuitive because you think it's like, well, 1 + 1. Well, it is, but it's not.
It's plus $20 and it's minus $20. It's the same thing, yes, but not in percent.
Exactly. Yeah.
When you are in a game of trading and it's all about percentage of your entry and percentage of value at time, those little nuances make massive differences.
That the thing that you drew here, Mode, that like the the uptrend on Kujira here from like the big one, not the small one, the big one. That concept of then having your zones drawn where there was no price action, that, and then you align that with Thor manual calls. I'm not saying Kujira, but I did that with Sol like recently. I think we were talking about it on Saturday. It was pumping, and I was like, I don't know, man. It just looks like, because I had drawn the mini uptrend on Sol from like the 92, so the last time it had that double near the same size wicks, and then went up from where it went. it hit the, what was that? The like 110 the first time, not this second time that it went, but I was like, I don't know. I'm looking at manual Thor calls and I drew my, my theoretical small uptrend, and no shit, it comes down and literally just slams right on the long that Thor had at like 103. And it was just, but it was on the day. That's what I was going to say. The whole time, like, is you with that Kujira, you drew that thing, you draw the zones, and then it gives you around the fucking day to be watching.
Right.
It's wild.
That's why I like the diagonals. It gives you a what was the Kujira?
K, wasn't it just JIRA? No, KU Kujira.
There it is. I was going to add it since I drew lines. I wanted to add it on. But yeah, that's why I like the diagonals, because it gives me an ideal representation of time as well. Like, like I said, it may not be until July that we see this price. But if I'm looking to buy Kujira to make money over the next year or next 5 years, I want to invest in this as my long-term bag. I don't want to be investing here at $1.80 to watch it pump back to $2.40 and then drop down to here again. I mean, potentially, if you want to swing trade it, great. But if you are looking to just make your ultimate entry into Kujira and let it run, you want to see this break and retest, whether it be here in this zone or whether it be here in this zone. But the fact that market makers will lose money right here to get you to FOMO in up here and then take your money and then come back and recapture their money where they lost it.
Yeah, make you feel the fear there and sell it to them. And then
exactly. They'll pump out of this zone. They will sell shit that they bought more. They'll lose money here, knowing that they're going to get money back from you here, and then they're going to revisit the same zone, and then revisit the same zone. They don't give a fuck if it's 3, 4, 5 months later. They always know that they're going to get their money back, right? So you just, when you understand that there are games and things do move in levels, to me, it gives me more confidence in waiting and watching and not just making a blind reaction. Because I made blind reactions and I thought I was a good trader because it was in the bull market and price just went up. And then for the most part, I got stuck holding the bags and then was trying to, ride the emotional roller coaster. Oh, it's going to go back up. I know it will. Oh, shit. No, it's not. It's just going to, it's starting to pump. It's going back. Oh, no, we're just, you don't want to go through a bull market accumulating only to hold the bags back down to the bear, right? We want to learn to accumulate on our way up and get out on the way up. Accumulate near the lows, get out near the tops, right? Whether it be short term in the next couple hours, it be longer term over the next few months, or even longer term over the next several years, right? Like if we look at, let's go to Bitcoin, and I'm going to go to daily. Actually, let's go to weekly. You see this uptrend on the weekly, right? This is from back when Bitcoin was $3,500.
Yeah, that's the COVID
you
drop.
Were buying it anywhere in here, you wanted to make sure you were taking some profits, right? But then we came down, support. We're on support again.
That's bullish as fuck on the weekly.
Right. But where's our zone on that major support line? If you look at our major support, and you can see we jump away from it most of the time we touch it. We jumped away. Where's that next price at? Near that 30,000 or just on top of it. So if we, this was support, right? Support. I want to draw a box right there. Just to do this.
On the other time frames.
Look, right here. We have support. We found support. It then became resistance. Man, wouldn't it be a perfect area to find support right here on our long-term line and find support on that again? Right?
Please get 30K Bitcoin, sir. Thank you.
You see, it was support. At first, it was a resistance, then support, resistance. We got to test it as support again, right?
You would think.
We'll see.
We gonna see.
Especially how high
What's your gut on what you think Sol is going to do from here? Telling you,
man.
I know it's like either way, but
I think Sol needs to cool off, man. I think it's really.
Do you think this is a dead cat bounce?
My fear is and you know me, I usually say I just read the charts and I don't pay attention to the news. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think the news in the state of the entire world is too great to ignore. I mean, we are.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that exactly?
We are looking at potential war, be it civil or, I mean, if you look at the United States right now, we are already in civil war. There is 25 states that have sent aid to Texas. That means there is 26 of 50, a majority, that is standing up against the federal government. That is a civil war, right? Now, what level does this escalate to? What level does Russia escalate to? Like, what level does this next COVID XQ fuck you whatever 4-6? What does it do? I just think there's so
it's a lot
many,
of bearish news. That's what you're saying.
There's a lot of things in the world right now that it's kind of hard. The news is too big to ignore the news. I usually say ignore the news, watch the charts. I feel like the news is too big to ignore. It's news far beyond just price action and finance. It's news of
it's macro news
of complete lifestyles of complete nations of world
that impacts liquidity, especially in these things.
Yeah, it's not just financial affecting, it's world livelihood affecting, potentially. So I don't know. I'm just maybe overly.
No, I think that's very smart. I think it's smart, and I agree with you to feel that way.
Yeah, like I said, I usually ignore the news and just watch charts, just like Jupe. You know, everybody was saying when Jupe dropped, Solana was going to boom, right? What was the date of the Jupe drop?
The 1st, I think, February.
Wait, yeah, I don't think it boomed, right? Or did it?
So here's February 1st.
Boom, but there are reasons why that didn't.
Look at that. Right then is damn near where I opened up that short because I was like, well, you know, shit could go the other way. And it did go down for a little bit.
That was one of the things, and that's a credit to Abby had said that. You know, it's like, well, what if Jupe doesn't pop the fuck off? Like, what happens when what happens to Sol? And you know,
is this and it did go down. Later? Is this where we're seeing the sell-off of Jupe potentially pushing up Sol now?
Yeah, very true.
because Jupe has continually gone down. Are we seeing that
Very true.
trend? It may be, but I want to see it in the chart, not just, you know,
You're waiting on the break and the retest.
I need to see something. I need to see.
That's smart.
Just like
but-
now, I wouldn't go short on Sol until either we
Yeah.
hit these zones or, you know,
Or it breaks
it
down.
works the same as uptrends and downtrend, the break
And the
and
reason.
the retest. You know, it works the same with
Lower
uptrends and
the lower
down.
low. Yeah. So do you confirm it? This is kind of like a basic, I guess, but just to reinforce it again while I'm looking at this, you confirm, like, let's say when it does that retest, if it does break down under the trend, it does that retest, that's still not confirmed. Is it more relatively confirmed if it makes the lower low again?
Well, no, because I want to catch the move to this lower low.
Yeah, I get that, but I guess I'm speaking on trend, change of trend.
Oh, for change of trend, yes. If I see
You need 3
and
indicators,
the
right?
retest, if we make the lower low, now I can at least connect a top.
Exactly.
top.
Yep. So you
And
look
now
for
if
3
we
confirmed
find-
in a row,
yeah.
or 4,
And
3.
then, if I got
Okay.
2 tops, you know,
And it's a lower high,
for example,
a
short
lower
term.
high into it. Yeah.
Short term, but I had a top and a top. Okay, well, we didn't make the lower low, so it didn't
Exactly.
matter,
Yep.
right? So you just have to look at your time frame of it.
Yeah. You have bonk, don't you? Mode. Like
Do
you
I?
have bonk.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send you the link. You need to put like half of your bonk in this bonk rewards, because I mean you still have firepower to sell it if it.
Right here is what I was saying. Remember, this is what I said. Okay, we're back in the zone. Get ready. Why did I make this zone? Because this is where price action happened before it just blew the fuck out. I knew it was going to come down here again. This is when I messaged you, Rumpty. I drew a circle just to mark it and said, pay attention to bonk. Get ready. We're in the middle.
That's when I
of the
waited
zone.
like 3 days. You know.
Yep. And then it hit the bottom, right at the zone. And you see, we've just been going sideways in the zone. We're still right in that zone.
I haven't sold that either. I'm waiting. I'm holding that buy.
But this is the accumulation zone, right? That's what this is called, a zone of accumulation. And I knew that zone was going to be there because of the previous zone.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you this link where you put
Actually, do your own research.
Put like a third of your bonk in this thing.
All right. I have I'll look at I have a good bit of bonk in Camino.
Okay. Yeah, this is from actual bonk.
Okay, even better.
You can see it. You'll look at the stuff there, and I'll send you the information I have. But like I put like just like as a test run, I put 30 mil bonk in it and you can do 3 different durations. 1 month, 3 month, 6 month. And 6 month you get 2x the
was that showing my bonk chart or not while I was talking about it?
You were on it.
Okay.
Yeah. But in 1 day from 30 mil, I had made around like 80,000 bonk in rewards.
Fuck yeah.
So it's like, imagine you have a shit ton,
Yeah.
you know,
I got accumulating.
Yeah. Because I'm not aiming to sell my bonk until the fucking bull run.
I'm not saying this is going down here, so I'm erasing that. That was just
That's
example of what a break and
I don't know, man. Leave it. I need it to go down, please.
That's what a break and retest would look like in the bearish scenario versus, you know, what we were talking about is drawing them out mostly bullish. So, here's what we got. I need to jump the fuck off here. Here's what we got. We've got 2 daily shorts in play right now. They are in play of our uptrend. We're looking about 9 to 13% between, depending on the calls, 9 to 13% from them shorts. Our first long here is a clean 20. And then the one that looks even better and better now that time is moving on and where we're looking at for support, that is a 35 to 40%. But that looks like a good zone to potentially find support on our trends, yeah. So that's what we're looking for. Or I still think ultimately we could break down to here, and that's why I still have this gold zone of max, a good target right here at $40, mid 40s to mid 30s. Looks like a good zone of accumulation if we come down here for, let me go back out to the daily, and you can see why. Even you see how long the supports and what happens when we've been on the support. So if we ride and fill these zones, I could expect another nice jump off. But again, this right here may not be till middle of July, right? Then again, we may never see these zones again. Prepare for either direction. It's really, I mean, we may never see that zone again.
Yeah, truly.
It would be an ETH situation.
Yeah. The $8 SOL was the $100.
Yeah, that's bye.
That was the $100 ETH moment.
Yeah.
That was like literally sell your entire fucking house, buy SOL, and my God, you'd be up what already?
Should have.
I mean, I did buy. I'm happy I bought. I actually
did buy, but I didn't buy enough.
Didn't buy enough, but I took a screenshot because I knew. I was like, this is going to be a historic buy, and imagine what it's going to be in time. Like, you're going to look back and be like, you fucking idiot. Why didn't you put, it's just.
Yeah. Hey, you sell your fucking car, you'd have 10 of them now.
Sell your fucking kidney, man.
All right, y'all. I am
appreciate you, bud.
I'm spent for the night.
Learned my shit.
Coming up, starting at the end of this month, or really, I guess in about another week, my IRL shit will be slowing down some. I just kind of got through my busiest time. So I'm potentially going to do 2 trading sessions a week.
Oh shit!
Not confirming when exactly and everything yet, but I may start.
Is that a trust me, bro? Or
no, not a trust me, not yet. Still figuring things out, but I am going to try to. Well, no, I will. You can trust me on this. I will be back on Twitter more often. I will be back in the Discord more often now that I've got more time
Let's
to
go.
this and not just the IRL shit. And like I said, with that being said, I'm also looking to do an extra Tuesday trader session, but I don't know when exactly that's going to be yet. But yeah. So
if you can, you should try and hit the earlier time zone, a little bit
that
earlier.
Is my plan to do somewhat.
Because Marcel's upset, bro. Not upset, but he's like, I wish I could go.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people that say, I like watching them, but I wish I could ask questions or, know. So I'm thinking about keeping this session and adding a morning session.
That would be fucking dope.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna be at work learning about frogs traders.
Same.
All right. Well, good shit, y'all. I'm gonna wrap her up.
All right,
Appreciate it,
man.
man.
Take it easy.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate
Have a good night
you.
or day.
Yes. See you, boys.
Thanks, Maud. To next one.
Peace, y'all.
Peace.